So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast as we look to, I suppose, kind of pick the bones on Aston Villa 0 and Crystal Palace 0. And I'll be honest, it's not normal that we have a 0-0 draw under Aston Villa currently, specifically over the last few weeks. But 0-0 draw we had, and a game where we absolutely, I thought for large parts of the first half and to start the second half and to end the second half, I thought we were the better team. We created some good chances, I suppose, namely the one where Ollie Watkins gets a header on it and it comes back off the post. It seems that happens quite a lot to Aston Villa, where somebody gets a header on the ball and it comes back off the post in that manner. One happened against Arsenal. I think did one happen against I can't remember what other team, but I seem to remember it happening 2 or 3 times in recent times. But we couldn't get our winning goal, and it ends up 0-0, which in the greater scheme of things, as I'm looking down through the rest of the games here, Man City drawing 1-1, Chelsea losing 2-1 to Fulham, Man United drawing 1-1 with Burnley currently, but only in the 54th minute. You know, realistically speaking, I suppose we didn't lose ground on, or nobody kind of really gained an awful lot of ground. But I think it's not really about that tonight. I'm probably going to have a different perspective on this one to a lot of people. I really liked the game plan that Villa had tonight. I think Villa played pretty well tonight. Yeah, there was a portion of 20 minutes in the second half where we lost control of the central midfield. That's fine. I would expect every single home team that we play, regardless, maybe outside of, I was going to say outside of Burnley, but they're drawn with Man United at the moment. But the majority of home teams that we play, if we're playing away, I would expect them to have at least a 20-minute patch of possession where they're able to try and get something done, specifically even after half-time, when they've had time to go in, regroup, and I suppose re-strategize. And Palace had that. Bar really, there was a couple of screwball scrambles Palace had in the middle of the goals. I thought in the main, we defended pretty well from those parts. Really, the only massively clear-cut chance that they had that I can remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, was when Brendan Johnson slides the ball across him. Arteta misses it by about 1.5 feet. Can't really remember an awful lot more of those. Conversely, in the first half, we had 2 through balls to Watkins. He miscontrols one. The goalkeeper gets a good save in it. The second one then, Lacroix gets a brilliant block in it when Ollie swings a left-footed at something that I know Paddy was probably screaming at the television going, swing a left-footed it, and Lacroix gets across. I thought Maxence Lacroix was the man of the match tonight. Just thought he was brilliant. I thought he was excellent. I thought he got his body on the line. He got in front of things. He marshaled that defence. I thought he was superb. You talk about Mark Gray being the linchpin of their defence. Maxence Lacroix for me was that tonight. I think that I think I was disappointed. I wasn't disappointed when Buendia and Malin came on, but I was I think I'm going to be perpetually disappointed with Daniel Malin playing right wing. And it doesn't seem like he wants to play out there. But then when he plays up top and he starts games on his own, when he plays up top, it doesn't seem like he wants to get involved in the play either. So I don't know. He's gone kind of cold, as Daniel Malin recently. Gone a bit cold. No, he wasn't awful when he came on. Don't get me wrong. He tracked back a couple of times. He got a couple of blocks. He was good in that defensive period when we needed him for about 8 or 9 minutes there after he came on. But I think that, I'm really looking forward to seeing if we can get like Jadon Sancho was quiet again tonight, so we're not getting that return out there that I would have liked to see in a game like this. In a game like this, when they were playing 3 at the back, they had wing backs, we had opportunities to get down the side of them. Matty Cash was really good at getting down the side of Tariq Mitchell tonight. And likewise, Luca Dean and Lucanini was actually better than Maatson at doing it, and Devaney the other side. Devaney's a cracking player, really, really good player, really good player. I like both their fullbacks, I really do. Not saying the Villa should go and sign them. They're just really good, honest, hardworking, and talented players. I think in the mold of probably the whole lot of that midfield, Adam Wharton, and Will Hughes. Will Hughes has no business being a Premier League footballer, yet he's a Premier League footballer because he's got so much effort and so much grit and determination. He does his job well, and his job inside there is not to be pretty. It's to absolutely kick you up into the air. And lest we forget, he started off at Derby as a number 10, solely as a number 10, and he's moved back through Derby, Watford, and now on to Crystal Palace. Play back towards to play that as number 6, and he's had to leave behind all his flicks and tricks that he had when he played as a number 10. And he got his started as a really, really young player, and he's gone back to number 6. Not pretty. One of those players that you hate to play. You hate him if you're playing against him. If he's on your team, you're probably delighted that he's there. But I'm not kicking up rocks or anything like this about a 0-0 draw at Palace, especially at Selhurst Park. I wanted us to win. I felt we could have won. I still feel we could have won that game tonight. But it's a difficult place for us to go to. We've not played very well there. And I thought we played well tonight. I do. I think we played well. As away performances go, I think that was a good away performance. We couldn't find a goal. I might do a small bit of a Paddy impression tonight because Andy Madley made me a bit annoyed tonight. The standard, like we always go through this in the on this podcast. We're heavily focused on the performance of referees. Normally through Paddy. Odd time I'll chime in about it, but I think Andy Madley was poor tonight, and the reason I'll say why is there was number one, the shot Morgan Rogers takes clearly comes off Mark Gray and goes over. So that should have been a corner. That's only a minor thing. Like how VAR can get involved when Tielemans is getting pulled down in the box and clearly gets rugby tackled from behind to the ground in the box at a corner and say play on. No, checked and cleared. Like, that is maddening. That's silly. That's just stupid. It's actually really, really stupid. It's because by the rules, it's a fucking penalty. But by the colloquialism of apparently how football is allowed to be played at corners, it's not. And that's annoying. I'm not saying that I'm just calling this one out because it was so blatant when you see it back on film. And I know if you give a penalty for one of those, you're going to give a penalty for every corner, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. I think the first handball that happened in the match, I think the second one on Tariq Mitchell, I don't think that was a handball. First one, I think, was a handball. First one was a handball. And Villa haven't gotten a penalty this year, and I thought that potentially that should have been a penalty. And I think a lot of times as well that he just didn't want to give Villa a free kick in and around the box, around the Palace box, specifically when we were attacking. And there was a couple of times when Morgan Rogers was taken down, coming from that left-hand side, specifically in the second half. I remember a couple of times, and no frees given. Look, I'm not saying they're the reason that we didn't win the game, but what I'm saying here is that when you've got such a set-piece driven team like we are against a team that has conceded 9 of their last 11 from set pieces, when we don't get those, what I would determine as clear-cut frees, it's just something that I want to talk about. But it was like I thought it was a passive performance from him tonight, from Andy Madley, and it's just, I think realistically, and I know I haven't even come to your comments. I know there's going to be at least one comment in there saying if we give a penalty like that at a corner, we have to give a penalty at every corner, and I completely understand that. But it's a foul. It's a clear another foul. He's no interest in getting the ball. Brennan Johnson has both arms around his waist. Brennan Johnson drops to his knees and brings Tielemans with him at a corner. And that's the instance there. It was about as subtle as a kick in the nuts for that. And I'm not saying, look, as I say, it's just one of those things. And I wouldn't be giving out about it at all, only for the camera zoomed right in and the commentator said, VAR checked it and cleared it. That's the annoyance I have. It's not that we didn't get the penalty in real time. It's just the annoyance of the fact that it flashed up VAR checking a penalty. It's as clear a day as penalty. and we didn't get it. So look, am I disappointed we didn't win the game? I'm going to be disappointed we didn't win any game. Am I rational enough to understand that we haven't lost ground on our overall objective in the Premier League this year of getting top 4 and trying to finish as high as we possibly can in the league? I absolutely am, because of the way results went for us, and the fact that we're playing away from home again in a ground that we find it difficult to win in. Whether you believe in superstition or not, I don't know whether I do yet. I think that when you weigh all those things up together, that I can't be too pissed off with this performance. I do think that we do need more attacking reinforcements, though. That's no secret to anyone. I would like to see maybe something over the course of the next week ramp up. We've got FA Cup at the weekend against Spurs. Do I want to win the FA Cup? I absolutely do. Does winning the FA Cup really do anything for us from a long-term perspective? It doesn't. But what it does do is it gives us fans something to celebrate. So yeah, go try and win that game. But it should be now really where we're I think this week we should try and attack that market if we can. If there's any way that we can get reinforcements in, or if there's any way that we can get players out, if there's any way that we can tie up or sort out the potential futures of Harvey Elliott, or what's going to happen with Leon Bailey, I'd like to see it over the next 10 days, because we've got Spurs the weekend on the 10th, then we don't have another match until the 17th. That's 10 days from now. So we've 10 days where I think that there should be opportunities to do work before the next Premier League game. And the reason I'm talking about Premier League games is Unai Emery is going to prioritize the league over the FA Cup. So I want to win the FA Cup. You want to win the FA Cup. There's nobody that's watching this podcast that doesn't want to win the FA Cup. But if the Premier League really is Unai Emery's be all and end all, and if that's what his North Star metric is, well, then I would expect this is the perfect week to start maybe making moves, or at least trying to put concrete things in place. I'm not saying we're going to go out and spend 35, 40, 50 million on a player. As everybody knows, we're tight to the collar. We're tight to the collar, and that's why Champions League football is so important as it is, and the position that we're in is so important. Yes, we can talk about winning the FA Cup. Yes, we can talk about winning the League Cup. Yes, we can talk about winning the Europa League, and all those things are still in play. But none of those are going to be done over getting to the cash cow that is the Champions League. And it's shit, and it's the shit part of football. It's the shit part of football in 2026/2020, what was 2025 before. But the club is to sustain this brilliant stuff that we're on at the moment, and the ability to be able to churn the roster. Be able to do that, we need to get Champions League football next year. We just absolutely have to. And a point tonight is another point closer to Champions League football. If you distill it right down now, at this moment in time, the team in 6th place, which is Chelsea, the team in 6th place now currently needs to outperform us by almost 1 point every single game from here on out to the end of the season. It's doable, but it's improbable. It's doable, but it's improbable. So, the club needs to keep on churning that way. So what I'm getting at when I mention that is, yes, we go out and if we win on Saturday against a Spurs team that we should, we should beat Bournemouth after beating them 3-2 tonight. They're not going great guns at all. Thomas Frank mightn't even be there at the weekend. Who even knows? But to go and beat that Spurs team in the FA Cup would be fantastic. Would be really, really good. Winning tonight would have been better in Unai Emery's mind, and we didn't win tonight. And I think he's going to want to go regroup, and I think we're going to see a much changed team at the weekend. Prioritize that Premier League, maybe get a signing in, maybe prior to that. Who knows? And I think that that's probably the smart money to do, albeit that the fan in me and the fan in every single one of you guys wants to win a cup, and I think that we can. Now, the converse side of that is get 3 or 4 more wins in the next couple of games. Let's just say we get 3 wins out of the next 5 games. I don't even know who we're playing. I don't have the fixture list up here. I could probably put it up here. Let's just say we get 3 wins in the next 5 games, which is Everton, Newcastle, Brentford. Okay, it's probably unlikely that we win all 3 of those games, but we could win all 3 of those games. We've only got 1 of them at home, or we've got 2 of them at home. Everton at home could be a win. Brentford at home, I would want us to win that game for sure. Let's just say we get 2 wins out of those 2 games, and then maybe we can start to concentrate then the Europa League or the FA Cup that goes. But until we are in that really, really, like, until it's absolutely mathematically sorted, Unai Emery is going to prioritize the Premier League. And that's why I think it's a shame we didn't win tonight, but I can completely, because once again, I think the positives are that results went our way. Results went our way again tonight. We didn't lose ground on anyone, on 6th place, should I say. And we are now currently 11 points ahead of 6th place, 12 points ahead of Chelsea. So that ain't bad going, I think, currently. Right. Here we go. Whoops. I'm going to come to some of your comments here as well. David says, bad result, got to be beating teams like Palace. Everybody seems to be talking about missed opportunities and stuff like that. There was a lot of people telling me that we weren't going to beat Palace before the game as well. You know, when we did the preview, a lot of people saying can't be complacent. This is a good Palace team. So I think there's I think there's definitely something in that too. Well, sorry. Do you know what? I think the comments are the comments are very samey. I'm going to scroll right down to the middle. Yeah, David, you've mentioned about 10 times. I think no killer instinct, nothing off the bench at all. I agree with that. I don't disagree to be no killer instinct. I agree. I think we got chances, and I think that, you know, and another day that ball comes off the post and it goes in the back of the net. But I think the bench was what really disappointed me, as I mentioned. I think the bench is what really disappointed me as well. There. Where else are we? Boom, boom, boom. Tony says point gained against the bogey opponents. City and Chelsea both drop points. United currently won all. Can't understand the negativity. I can understand the negativity because it is a missed opportunity. But as I say, we haven't lost any ground on anything. It's a missed opportunity, I suppose, for us to go outright into second place, 3 points off the top of the table with Arsenal to play Liverpool tomorrow. I think now we can probably say that Arsenal are champions elect, 5 points ahead of both ourselves and Man City, and Liverpool to play Liverpool tomorrow. You know, a Liverpool team are in 4th, who it's not going to be any walkover at the same time, but they play a Liverpool team tomorrow who, you know, even I think if Arsenal draw tomorrow, 6 points is going to be a lot to be able to be able to drag back. Now, I'm glad that we don't have to play Arsenal again this year, but part of me kind of wants to say that if we really were in a title bid, which I suppose when you look at where the table is here, you could probably say that we still are. Then, you know, winning today would have been huge. Would have been absolutely huge, putting us on 45 points, 3 points behind Arsenal. And then we could have dared to dream that if they drop points tomorrow, we would have been able to root for Liverpool tomorrow to beat Arsenal. And then we would still have the same gap on Liverpool, and we would have been 3 points closer to Arsenal. That's what's annoying me. That's why I'm kind of a small little bit annoyed tonight. Now we're 5 points, potentially 8 points off Arsenal, and Arsenal look like they're going to sail out into sea with regards to the Premier League at the moment. But there's a long way to go yet. Someone mentioned there I went down. Do you know exactly? I meant to say it there as well. Someone mentioned there about Onana. Yes, here it is. Take the point. Missed Onana tonight when things got loose in midfield. Absolutely, Richie Wiz. I think that I meant to say that as well. I think we really missed Onana. Boubacar Kamara in the second half was shaky. They went at him. Both of their central midfielders went at him. That's where I was going at when I was going on my rant about Will Hughes. I felt that if we had an Onana in there, maybe an Onana to bring on for Kamara as opposed to Bogart. And I thought actually Bogart did okay. He went and he was brought on to go and stand down on Mateta, be the third man in on Mateta. But we lost control of midfield. Mark Gray pushed up into midfield a couple of times. If you guys saw that, he was coming up well into our half to try and dictate play as a central midfielder. I think a bit of heft from Onana there would have been good because they did overrun us for about a 15-20 minute period in the in that second half. So yes, I do think that we missed Onana there as well. Where else are we? Um, UTF V82 says we're not in a title race and you're setting up yourself up for disappointment if you think you are. Yeah, look, we're not. I don't think we're in a title race after tonight. But you could make an argument we were prior to that. But look, as I've always said, buffer zone FC. Keep the teams behind us, finish in the top four, finish as high up as we can in the league. If we happen to finish first, brilliant. But make sure you prioritize finishing in the top three, top four, get Champions League, and run all the way to the bank then in the summer. And not to have a summer like we had just gone, where we're chasing our tail, really not knowing what's going to happen. If we Champions League last summer, we wouldn't have had to chase our tail as much because we would have and maybe we would have, but at least we would have been able to. I don't know what way we would have been able to do SCR or PSR to try and finagle things around. We would have still made a lot of money this year and more money than we would have made even winning the Europa League. Would have set us up then again. So I don't know would it have been detraction or would we have been any better off or any worse off than we are this year. But big thing here is just financial stability as well as good performances. Build a platform, build a base, build the structure of the club, I suppose, and that has to be built financially. And the only way you do that is getting into the Champions League, if not back to back years, definitely every other year, to try and keep sponsorship on board, try and keep increasing that sponsorship. And we're in a world whereby spreadsheets are as important as tactic boards. Once the 30th of June hits, spreadsheets are as important as tactic boards. And I know it's only the 7th of January, but there is method towards that madness, and that's why finishing in the Champions League position is number one, I think, for absolutely everyone. Premier TV says Malin needs to be closer to the main striker. What right wing is in this position? I agree, but I don't think you could have brought him on as a 10 either today. I don't think you could have brought him on as a 10, not with Rodgers and Buendia in the field. He has played as a right wing, like predominantly for Dortmund, he was a right winger. So I'm not going to say the right wing is in his position. I just kind of feel I don't know, does he want to play there? I don't know, does he want to play there? It's a tough position to play in the Unai Emery team. It's a tough position to play. Like, you go down through the people who've played right wing. Morgan Rogers went out there. He looked a pale imitation of himself. Leon Bailey, okay, played well there for a short period of time, but a lot of the time there, he was playing up closer to the striker and he was rotating with Diaby the whole time. John McGinn, I'd say, has probably played the best right wing position that we've had. Evan Gassand obviously can't get the hang of it either from an attacking point of view, for sure. And Mala wouldn't be the only person. I think it's an extremely demanding position. I think it is. And I think that it's one that if we crack the nut on the right wing as good as we've cracked it on the left wing with Rodgers, and I know obviously Rodgers plays centrally as well, I think that we would be an outstanding team going forward. I genuinely believe it. But can we crack it is the next question, because we haven't done it so far. And I'm not saying that we won't, sorry, of course we can, but can we crack it in time while everything is ticking the way it's ticking now at the moment with the Tielemans Kamara connection happening? I think right wing is as important as a striker, and I think we need both of those ideally in this window. Keep us chugging along this year. Not saying we won't. We sign superstars. I'm saying that we go out and we get reinforcements in there in those positions, and we plump up, because we have, Jadon Sancho isn't doing it for me anymore. I don't know where we're going to go with him. We can't send him back, so he's going to be here for the rest of the year. I don't think, obviously we're not going to buy him based on his current form, but he's just not doing it for me anyway. Harvey Elliott obviously has been a complete another non-entity. Something needs to happen there soon. Is what I think. And as this is clearly says, hopefully this Alisson is a revelation. He's been bought at an opportunistic price now. This guy won't be our savior this year. Absolutely won't. I would I'm not going to say he won't be. I'm not expecting him to be. I think it's unfair to expect him to be. He's a 19-year-old kid coming from Brazil to England, doesn't speak the language. His family won't be here until I think he said in his interview his family won't be here for another couple of months. So he's going to be here all on his own, first time outside of Brazil. So this guy's going to need time. And I think that's fine. It's an opportunistic signing. 10 million SCR resets in the first of January. 10 million isn't going to break any bank. It was 4.5-year contract. When you distill it down, it's 1.25 million a year, if even. And it's not a massive PSR or SCR outlay due to his wages and all that stuff. So I think the club took the chance, signed him, and would bring him on over the course of the next few weeks and months. But it won't be. I'd be surprised to see him even on the bench for the weekend. But stranger things have happened, you know. But I think he can progress. Obviously, okay, he can progress. Jimmy the Saint, what was that? I think I've answered that. That was ages ago. Why does that game not piss you off? I've spoken about why it what pisses me off, what doesn't piss me off. I won't go over again. Yeah, Jude McCarthy asks, any news on the Martinez injury? Calf, I think they said. I think he's icing his calf. So I think it's a calf injury. Where else are we here? I'm going to come down. I think I'm getting to the ref portion. Sancho one. Right. Yes. So, Andy Hilly says if Liverpool don't take Elliott back, then we don't want Bailey back either. Yeah, it's interesting, and to be honest with you, nothing short of a rude and bollocksy type comment from Arne Slot today about Harvey Elliott when he was asked a pretty benign question. But I don't know. I would imagine the both of them will play like one outgoing will dictate the other one incoming. But I like if Bailey comes back, he's going straight out again. Like there's heavy rumors that he's going to go to Bournemouth. Bournemouth getting a 3-2 win tonight is nothing short of spectacular, considering that Semenya is out the door. It was his birthday today. I don't even know that he start. Justin Kluivert is also injured, and he has a knee injury. He's going to be out for the majority of the rest of the season. They're going to need help in those areas. They've shipped off another wing back that they had, Araujo, to Celtic. Bournemouth are going to need reinforcements. And I would imagine if there was any truth in that rumor, and Villa take Leon Bailey back, they'll send him straight out to Bournemouth again, without playing for us. And I don't know how I feel about that. As I say, we'll see it. I think I agree with Paddy. Kind of need to get him off the books full time. But look, needs must from a PSR and SCR point of view. And if we can keep that loan fee, send him out for another loan fee, well, then you're just racking up money on top of money and seeing what happens then in the summer again then afterwards. Right, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Yeah, look, not the result we wanted. Obviously, I predicted a win. We thought it'd be a 2-1 win tonight, but it wasn't. It was 0-0. We didn't get the result we wanted. We've 13 wins this season, 4 draws and 4 losses. We ain't doing too bad. We're on 43 points, so we're joint second in the league. So we will regroup, I'm sure. Come back for Spurs at the weekend. I know I've been saying that I wanted to do a couple of podcasts a day this month. Just really busy. I'm in the process of trying to move houses and, process of purchase that we've purchased a house and we're just trying to find a date when we can move. So packing stuff up and things like that. So just haven't had as much time as I needed to do some podcasts. But I am hoping that if I get some free time over the coming days, that we could if we've coming days that I can put together a list. Like I know I haven't done anything on Robinho Vaz, whether that there's any truth in that rumor or not. There was a centre half I wanted a profile as well. If I get any time, if I get an hour together, I'll be able to put together 2 or 3 podcasts because I have a lot of the research done and written and notes written and stuff like that there. But if I get 2 hours to myself, some even I might be able to do that. But don't count on it in the coming days. But we will be back with stuff for Spurs at the weekend, previews, team sheet tantrums, post matches as well, and then on into next week as well. So please do join us for that. Listen, Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 0, draw, extra point towards Champions League. We regroup, we go again. In the immortal words of Paul Lambert, I think it was, we go again. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up